Let's just look at it. MHA got ejected.
Connecticut Mystics days.
And got thrown out of the game right here. Alyssa Thomas was driving in. MHA said, "We are not having it. I'm not having it." Well, she was not having it right off the court.
That's a WNBA forward being ejected with 7 minutes still remaining on the clock, and it happened while her team was already trailing by nearly 20 points. So, why did a game that seemed all but decided suddenly turn into a heated shoving match? The Indiana Fever defeated the Phoenix Mercury 86-77 on Monday night, but the final score was far from the most interesting part of the evening.
Clark, they interviewed her right after the game on the court. She said that the fourth quarter lasted forever. She said that might have been the longest fourth quarter in the history of the WNBA. She's not wrong.
Clark said in her on-court interview that the fourth quarter felt like it lasted forever, and she wasn't exaggerating for the cameras. The final stretch, just 1 minute and 12 seconds, turned into a parade to the free throw line, with whistle after whistle as the tension continued to build throughout the night. At the center of it all was DeWanna Bonner. If that name sounds familiar, there's a reason. Bonner signed with Indiana before the season, played only 9 games, and then forced her way out of the team. Now she's wearing a Phoenix Mercury uniform. She's also in a relationship with Mercury star Alyssa Thomas, and she already has history with Clark from a physical playoff series in 2024. So, when Bonner and Clark got tangled up while fighting for position in the fourth quarter, it wasn't just two players accidentally bumping into each other. It was the latest chapter in a grudge that had been simmering for months and finally boiled over.
Look at Sophie right here. She's going to play tough guy, but Sophie's just not going to have it. By the way, these two used to be teammates. There's DeWanna Bonner showing her ass as normal. And Sophie, Sophie looks like she absolutely...
Watch how quickly the situation escalates. It begins with Clark and DeWanna Bonner exchanging words, but within seconds, players from both teams are involved. Sophie Cunningham, Indiana's self-appointed enforcer, immediately steps in and points directly at Bonner. Alyssa Thomas rushes over to support her teammate, and then Natasha Mack joins the crowd as tensions continue to rise. When the officials finally separate everyone and review the incident, they issue 5 technical fouls in a single sequence. Clark, Cunningham, Bonner, Thomas, and Natasha Mack are all assessed technicals. Clark's penalty was her 5th of the season, resulting in a $1,000 fine and a warning from the league. Cunningham's was her 3rd, carrying a $500 fine. But the drama wasn't over yet. Just seconds after the initial technicals were handed out, Natasha Mack shoved Bonner and received a 2nd technical foul. Since 2 technical fouls lead to an automatic ejection, she was immediately thrown out of the game. That's how a player ends up being ejected from a game her team was comfortably leading by 19 points.
Order from hell.
First quarter was embarrassing. Got to be able to space the floor, make open shots, and get downhill. I thought we did a lot better job getting our feet in the paint. That's what allowed us to get better looks, and then we also got to the free throw line, which helped as well.
Embarrassing. Embarrassing, she called it. It was
embarrassing was Clark's word, not mine. And she had every right to use it because Indiana's first quarter was historically awful. The Fever managed to score just 6 points. 6. They shot only 2-for-18 from the field and found themselves trailing by 13 at the end of the opening quarter. Bleacher Report described it as one of the ugliest quarters played by any team all season in the WNBA. For a franchise with Indiana's history, that says a lot. There's one detail that's easy to overlook. Alyssa Thomas, by herself, outscored the entire Fever team during the first quarter. In fact, the most exciting moment for the home crowd in those opening 12 minutes may have been Pacers star Tyrese Haliburton reaching in to free a ball that had become stuck behind the backboard. Then the second quarter arrived, and everything changed. Indiana exploded for 35 points. Same arena, same roster, but it looked like a completely different team. That turnaround wasn't the result of luck. Head coach Stephanie White made key defensive adjustments after the first quarter, closing off Phoenix's driving lanes and forcing the Mercury into difficult low-percentage shots for the remainder of the game.
Her own numbers. Way downtown. Boom. And I mean, she shot that one from the frickin' parking lot. This is the pass to an open Lexi Hull. Caitlin's way down here. Way down here. There was a shot. They head back down the court. Caitlin.
And the driving force behind that comeback was Clark. She poured in 15 of her 24 points during the second quarter alone, sparking Indiana's turnaround with a combination of deep three-pointers and aggressive drives to the basket. What had been a 13-point deficit quickly became a lead before halftime. Her final stat line was impressive. 24 points on 8 of 17 shooting, 3 of 10 from beyond the arc, 9 assists, and 3 rebounds in just 29 minutes of action. She finished only 1 assist short of a double-double, and there's a reason that stands out. This season has been the best of her career so far. Clark is averaging a career-high 21 points and 8 assists per game, with her assist average ranking second in the entire WNBA behind only Alyssa Thomas. Of course, she didn't carry the load by herself. Kelsey Mitchell contributed 22 points, while Monique Billings quietly recorded a double-double and made a major impact on the boards. Still, there's no doubt about the hierarchy on this team. When the Fever needed someone to pull them back into the game, Clark was the player who took control and led the charge.
Dropping double digits in a quarter. 15 points tonight. The Fever in the first quarter, in Stephanie White's system, 6 points, 2 of 18. Fever in the second quarter under Cece's takeover, 35 points, 10 of 18. He also, and I don't think I've got that from Venom, but he also caught the fact that Caitlin Clark got pulled in the third quarter and Kelsey Mitchell got some buckets. And I was like, oh, okay.
Now, this is where a lot of fans online started telling a very different story. In some corners of social media, the narrative was that Clark had been pulled from the game, effectively benched, while Kelsey Mitchell continued to get her opportunities, leading some people to suggest that something suspicious was going on with the coaching staff. But let's take a closer look because claims like these spread quickly and deserve an honest explanation. Clark played 29 minutes and was taken out with roughly 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining in a game that Indiana already had well under control. That late substitution is the reason she finished 1 assist short of a double-double. If there's a reasonable complaint to make, that's probably it. However, resting your franchise player during the final minute of a comfortable victory, especially when you're scheduled to face the same opponent again just 2 days later, is not evidence of a conspiracy. It's standard load management. There is a valid discussion to be had about how head coach Stephanie White manages Clark's minutes, usage, and touches over the course of a long season. That's a fair debate. But claiming that the team is deliberately sabotaging her is very different from saying they're trying to manage her workload responsibly. Of those two arguments, only one is supported by the facts.
This was not we talked about earlier in the day, the attendance. Right here, the attendance, 15,198. So they were basically 2,600 empty seats. And you could see it all over the place.
Let's talk about the crowd for a moment because the broadcast announced an attendance of 15,198. Yet there were still noticeable empty seats scattered around Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Context is important here. This was a Monday night matchup against a Phoenix Mercury team sitting near the bottom of the standings. It wasn't exactly the kind of marquee rivalry game that guarantees a packed arena from top to bottom. Even so, Caitlin Clark's impact on the league remains undeniable. Her presence has helped drive record-breaking attendance figures and television ratings across the WNBA for 2 consecutive seasons. One Monday night game with a few thousand empty seats against a struggling opponent doesn't change that reality. Still, it's something worth monitoring because both the Fever and the league have built a significant part of their business narrative around the idea that this team can sell out virtually any arena it enters. When attendance dips, even slightly, people take notice, especially when it happens during a home game. And that's what makes the second half of this home-and-home series so interesting. The same 2 teams will meet again on Wednesday night, but this time there's extra fuel for the rivalry. An ejection, 5 technical fouls, and plenty of lingering tension have turned the rematch into a much more compelling storyline.
If MHA and Sophie hadn't have been playing on the court in this game at the time, would this have turned into something? The Mercury got sort of a reputation. Alyssa Thomas got a reputation. DeWanna Bonner got a reputation. Those Fever fans let her ass have it. People have not forgotten DeWanna Bonner.